Hello, I am Josh Taylor, the Director of Product Management with CABLExpress, and I'm here with Rick Dahlman, Senior Data Center Architect, also with CABLExpress. Rick, how you doing?
I'm well. How you doing, Josh?
Doing great. So, wanted to talk to you today. I'm just back from a trip to a trade show, and one thing, well, there's always a lot going on in technology, a ton. IT is a very busy industry, but it seems like recently and preparing for the future, there is going to be a lot of disruption with transceivers. You have a lot of expertise. You've seen a lot. What are you seeing now and coming down the pipe for transceiver change? Because I was seeing a lot at the trade show. Curious to learn more.
That's a great question, Josh. You and I obviously go back a long ways. You know kind of my feelings about this, especially not only on the transceivers, but how, in fact, we're going to connect these transceivers into our high-end connectivity in our data centers. That, I think, is going to be the biggest challenge. I'm going to pull a presentation up right now that I did a few months back, titled Migration Challenges for High-Speed Applications, exactly what we're talking about. And it kind of addresses, I think, all your points, and it talks about the CABLExpress solution, how we're going to address it, something that's been pretty passionate, a goal of mine for the past several years. We'll talk a little bit about, obviously, the driving factors of it. I actually been on several committees on the TIA board, so we'll kind of discuss what's going on in the committees and the arguments that ensue because of these particular challenges. We'll review, in fact, those transceivers with standards and also some non-standards, but also being talked about possibly could be standards soon. We'll review some of the cabling standards. And then, obviously, we'll put our take on what the challenges are, and then finally, what our solution that we came up with, multipath, to address these shortcomings, in my opinion, for data center infrastructure that we deal with on an everyday basis, and especially moving forward.
Fantastic.
Of course, the driving factors, JT. Obviously, we're all familiar with LC and MPO style interconnects. So I'm not going to bore you with giving you Fiber 101. But that in itself, associated with the transceivers that they plug into, are what really is creating some challenges because there's some different transmission methods that are required for these particular connectors. We'll talk about, obviously, the big buzzword lately in the industry has been OM5, the latest standard for shortwave multimode. We'll talk about that a little bit and the effects on the data center infrastructure. And we'll, again, just flat out talk about everything from 10 gig to 400 gigabit. And then, again, reiterating, and I can't reiterate this enough, the challenges for polarity or fiber path in the data centers. Like I said, this has been a big sticking point and challenge, I think, for the industry in itself. The buzzwords that everybody is familiar with structured cabling is plug-and-play systems, and to be frank, it's not plug-and-play. It's plug-and-play in the fact on how the actual material works together or the components work together. But the customer can't simply just buy a cable from any place and a cassette module from any place and plug it in and expect it to work. These are the challenges that we deal with on an everyday basis. All right? And then to throw some more fuel on the fire, some manufacturers out there have some proprietary methods with fiber path that are not in the standards that also prevent us from even complying to the standards across the board.